Hello and welcome to the Secret Wealth Project. I'm Matt. Hope you're doing all right. So I've got a really exciting little course for you. It's 100% free on the Secret Wealth Project YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy it. This is a culmination of the last something like 20 years of my internet marketing career, whereby I started learning this stuff a long time ago, but let's get stuck in anyway. And yeah, let's see where it goes. So this is Secret Wealth Project's Copywriting for Beginners, the art of selling one-to-many via the written word by me, Matt Webley. So there's a little disclaimer there, just me basically saying, look, use this at your own risk. Don't hold me accountable for anything. I'm not responsible for the use, misuse, or abuse of this information. It's not get rich quick or anything like that. Ultimately, this is a timeless skill that is well worth learning, and I'm going to do my very best to transplant a good beginner's base level of knowledge into your head, and hopefully you enjoy this course and get a lot of value from it. So let's get started. Part 1, Introduction to Copywriting. So what is copywriting? Many people can get copywriting and copyright mixed up. You probably spoke to people about copywriting before and they've been like, huh? Copyright, is that something like to do with like copying people's writing and stuff? Well, one is legal IP protection, intellectual property protection. The other is how you can get rich, like literally rich. Okay, so salesmanship in print is basically what it is. But salesmanship is one of the greatest skills you can possess as a business person, okay? And copywriting is the process of selling in print. Now, it can be in video and stuff as well, so you can write a sales letter that is delivered via video, and that becomes a video sales letter or a traditional advert, really, I suppose. But some people say things like, oh, he's just a salesman, when they're trying to be derogatory. But when somebody says that about me, I take it as a greatest compliment. Because good salespeople are some of the most powerful people in the world. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you are selling. So whether you are trying to convince your buddies to go to a club, or if you're trying to get somebody to, I don't know, do something this Saturday night, or you're trying to get your husband to buy you that nice dress, whatever it is, you're selling all the time. And great salespeople make lots of money because ultimately they drive sales, and sales drives profit. So they are the most powerful, or some of the most powerful people in the world. If you can sell, then you can persuade, and if you can persuade, then that's half of the difficulty in business. So the art and skill of selling, it's the one skill businesses need to have. Because if you combine good salesmanship with good marketing, you have an unstoppable force. You can make a lot of money selling a mediocre product with great sales and marketing. So you can have a crappy product or an okay product and make a fortune with good sales and marketing. But you'll struggle to make any money at all with a great product and crappy sales and marketing. So yes, you struggle to make any money with a great product and no ability to sell it. It's just the facts. So marketing and sales are the most important elements of a successful business. Oftentimes marketing and salesmanship, or salespersonship, whatever you want to call it, are kind of talked about in the same kind of sentence. So I'm going to sometimes use them interchangeably during this course, but don't be mistaken, I understand the differences between marketing and selling, but oftentimes the lines are blurred. So selling is very much kind of sales focused, driving sales. Marketing can often be more about driving traffic and driving kind of attention and things like that. So they do come in hand, marketing and sales, but at the same time, they are different things. But ultimately, I'll use the words interchangeably. Don't beat me up for it. I do know the difference between the two. But like I say, for the sake of this, we're going to just mention them in the same breath. But the power of copywriting, being a good salesperson is good, okay? Being a good copywriter is life-changing. So a salesperson, as in like a car salesperson or a whatever salesperson. So if you're selling cars and you're a good car salesperson, you can make a lot of money. But if you can be a good copywriter, it will change your life and change your business or whatever business you're working in. See, a salesperson usually sells one-to-one. So like in the example of a car salesperson, that car salesperson has a potential customer come in, and then they go over to the potential customer, they build rapport, they sell themselves, and they sell the product and all that stuff. And the sales process starts and is one-to-one. And if the customer walks away and never comes back, well, then the sales process has to start again, one-to-one with another customer or potential customer. And you might have to speak to 5 customers or 10 customers or even 50 customers before you get a sale. But that's salesmanship, and that's what being a salesman or salesperson is all about. Traditional selling, one potential customer equals one sales pitch equals one chance for a sale. And that's where the difference is with copywriting. Copywriting is one sales message created once but can be viewed by 10 or 100 or 1,000 people all at once. But it doesn't have to be all at once. It can be at a later date as well. So with selling, so in the example of a car salesperson, you have to be in front of the customer and you deal with that customer. And they might be a tire kicker. They might have just come for the day out. They might be interested but not be able to afford it. Or just be looking at your car because they actually want a different type of car. But they thought, you know what, just to make sure that I'm not making a mistake, I'll go and look at other cars. So you could have that most difficult job in the world, convincing somebody to buy your car over another car that they already know they want. So ultimately, you could waste your time on 5 customers in one day, not speak to anyone else. And, you know, the other customers spoke to the other salespeople and they were more serious about buying and they got tipped over the edge. So they made the sales. You didn't. You wasted your time with 5 tire kickers. But the real people that wanted to buy the car came in, spoke to somebody else. But you have an opportunity cost of speaking to one person as a salesperson. So one customer or one potential customer, one opportunity for a sale. If they don't buy, that's it. You have to go again and again and again, rinse and repeat. But with the copywriting, you create that sales process once, and then you can put it in front of 100 people, say, on a webinar. So you get a webinar, you get 100 people on the webinar or 400 people on the webinar, and you can sell to that 100 or 400 people all at once with the same pitch. So you leverage yourself massively. This is the power of copywriting. When you're selling one-to-one, it's one person to one. When you're copywriting, you're selling one-to-many, and one-to-many is how you get rich. You leverage yourself many, many, many times over, but it doesn't have to be even on one live webinar. You could create a sales letter or a sales video and present that to traffic or people that you drive into your sales conversion process, your funnel, your sales letter, your webinar, whatever you want to call it. But your vehicle for sales, you drive people into that vehicle and present them with the same sales pitch you created once, and then you get multiple opportunities to buy for different customers to buy at different times. This is ultra powerful, and it's the power of copywriting. I hope that's made sense. If it hasn't, please comment down below and let me know. And if it has, if you have seen the power of copywriting and how it's different to one-to-one selling, also let me know in the comments down below. I read all your comments. Right, no need to be there or pitch again. It's the ultimate leverage. Create it once, present it to 1 million people just as easy as you present it to one. So that's why being a good salesperson, you can make good money. Being a good copywriter or a great copywriter, you can get absolutely rich. So you write your pitch once and you can duplicate yourself thousands of times. This is why it's a timeless skill, well worth learning, and a skill that I'm going to hopefully transfer at least good, competent beginner's knowledge. And by beginners, I mean enough knowledge for you to be able to take somebody and with just words on a page, take them from potential customer to slam dunk, here's my money. That's where I aim to get you to with this beginner's focus course. But I call it a beginner's course because My intention is to take you from a level of starting point. So I'm not going to assume you know anything about copywriting, and I'm going to take you from beginner up to hopefully able to make sales with this 100% free course. If you appreciate this sentiment, if you appreciate this free course, give me a thumbs up. The more thumbs ups, the more engagement I get, the more comments I get, the faster I'm going to pump out these videos, because I know it's something you want. So if you comment, if you thumbs up, I make them faster. If you don't, I make them slower, because obviously I'm going to gauge your interest and how much you want the next part based on how you interact with this part. So engage with this video and I will create the videos quicker. So you'll get more parts of this course. Right, so let's keep going. So you write your pitch, somebody in Kansas reads it. At the same time, somebody in New York reads it. At the same time, somebody else in France reads it, or UK or Australia or Canada, wherever you are, doesn't really matter. And it doesn't matter where your customer is. As long as they can read your language, you can present your sales message in 1,000 different places, all at the exact same time with no extra effort on your part. Hopefully you're starting to understand the power of copywriting. So you go to sleep and somebody is reading it. You get the ultimate leverage of you. You create it once, you create your sales process once, your copy once, you profit from it again and again and again. Now there's a reason good copywriters cost tens of thousands of dollars. The skill is easy to learn the basics of, but difficult to master. It's a craft, it's an art, it's a science, it's part art, it's part science. You can't just read a book and become an amazing copywriter. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes consumption of information, but consumption's not enough. It's not enough to just take this information in. You have to apply it, you have to practice it, you have to master it to get ultimately good at this. It takes time, education, and testing. Testing being the key word. But once mastered is the ultimate superpower. Yeah, you know what? You maybe want to fly. If somebody asks you, you've probably been asked a million times, what superpower would you want? Oh, invisibility, being able to fly, time travel, and all this stuff. No, copywriting. In the real world, where people don't fly dressed in capes and all that stuff, you want to be a good copywriter, because copywriters get rich. Simple as that. Why listen to me? Okay, so you might be saying, if you don't know who I am, you might be saying, well, I stumbled across this free copywriting course. This guy, this Matt from the Secret Wealth Project, sounds like he's very enthusiastic about it. Sounds like he's got passion. But beyond that, why listen to me? Let me tell you now. So I first started learning the timeless skill of copywriting back probably in the early 2000s. Definitely by 2000, 2001, I was learning about copywriting. Maybe, I don't remember, but maybe 99, 98, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But definitely, I was studying copywriting back in the early 2000s. And copywriting is not one of those things that changes all the time. Don't get me wrong, a headline that might hook someone now might be a little bit different to one that will hook someone in 5 years' time. But generally, things, unlike internet marketing that changes so quick, copywriting generally stays. It's like a big cruise ship. Little bits change, but it mostly stays on course and just keeps going forwards. So once you learn this skill, as I did in the 2000s, you'll quickly figure out that a lot of this stuff, most of this stuff, will still apply, because it's totally timeless, and humans are humans, and the same persuasion triggers and things that somebody thought about 20 years ago will work now, and they will work in another 20 years' time. So you might watch this in 2019 or 2020, and you'll find that most of this stuff still applies in 2040. So it's well worth mastering copywriting. It can make or break your business, and it can arm you with the skills to be able to make any business work in the future, whether that's a property business, an internet marketing business, an offline mom and pop business, whether you're writing websites or video sales letters, or you're creating webinar scripts, or whatever it is that you do in the future, these core basic principles of copywriting will apply. Persuading somebody how to do something 20 years ago is the same as it is now as it was back then. So anyway, I started learning forever ago, and I'm an 8-figure copywriter. So I'm not some random chump that's read a couple of books and decided to regurgitate it on a YouTube video. And my copy has been responsible for 8 figures of sales from my own copy for my own products and services. So it's not like I worked for Coca-Cola, some big brand with massive marketing push that was able to I don't know, like some of my copy persuaded 1 million of their customers to take action, and here I am saying I'm an 8-figure copywriter. Look, my own products and services over the last X amount of years, long time now, has been responsible. My copy has been responsible for selling 8 figures of my own products and services. So this is not client stuff. This is my stuff. So I've read more books on copywriting than most people know exist. Now, I'm not trying to say, oh, I've read more books than you or more books than anyone else. Look, I've been in the trenches copywriting for many, many, many years, split testing stuff, Taguchi testing stuff, multivariate testing stuff, writing copy, persuasion in print, and trying to beat the control. So basically, you write a sales letter, and then you send half your traffic to there and half your traffic to a different sales letter where you just change one thing like the headline. And so I've been trying to beat my own sales letters for years and years and years. Sometimes I beat them, sometimes I don't. But every single test you do, every single tweak you do to your copy, when you're testing it for statistical significance, means that you find something and you learn, okay, so adding the word free actually increased my conversion ratio slightly. Okay, what about if I change this? What about if I put 2 PSs at the bottom instead of 1 PS? What about if I have this call to action instead of that call to action? All of this stuff can't be learned from a book. It's testing, it's trial and error, and it forms a body of knowledge that makes you a good all-round copywriter. So I've read tons of stuff, it's essential, but I've also wrote tons of stuff in the trenches experience. And I've run hundreds, if not thousands, of split tests over my career, each time learning something new. But we'll talk about split tests in full another time, maybe on another course, who knows. But let's get stuck in. So the true beauty of copywriting plus the internet is you craft your message and you can present your message in front of millions of people in their homes. Copywriting is a timeless skill you must master if you want to get rich or even just succeed online. The vehicle changes, but the skill set doesn't. Let this sink in for a minute. Video, letter, web page, different vehicle, same result. So 30 years ago, when there was no World Wide Web as we know it today, people used to present copy in sales letters. That's where the name came from. A sales letter. So it would be a letter that you received in the post or a letter in a newspaper, literally a long form sales letter in a newspaper or a magazine. These were what people used to persuade in print. The vehicle changes, but the skill set doesn't. So the same copy that persuaded in a legitimate direct mail piece that landed on your doorstep in a letter that you opened up and you read or whatever is the same skill set that you need to be able to present on a long form sales letter or opt-in page or whatever right now in the world of the internet and whatever the vehicle changes to next. Because let's face it, the internet has changed a lot. We've gone over a lot more to video since I've been doing this, but it will change again. Maybe the internet, isn't the main vehicle of mass communication and persuasion in the future. Maybe the vehicle changes again, but the skill set won't. Learn copywriting, and it doesn't matter what the vehicle will be. You will still have that skill set, and you'll be able to apply it to persuade people to empty their wallet and let you take the spoils of war. Obviously, always leading with value first. I'm not suggesting you should use copywriting like some evil, bad Jedi skill, like you some dark Sith or something. Be a good Jedi. Use it to help serve. Use copy to help show the benefits to the customer of your product. Don't use it to trick your customers. Use it to help them, to serve them, to help them know how your product will help them. Right, so copywriting is taking a potential customer from point A to point B. That's basically it. Point A is where they were before they started reading your copy or watching your video or whatever. Point B is where you want them to be after. So point A, they might have a problem that needs solving. Point B is you've convinced them that your product or service is the thing that will help them solve that problem. So you take them from point A, not knowing what you are or what you do potentially, to point B, wanting to buy your product and service because they consider you to have told them enough to let them know that you are the right person to buy from to be able to solve that problem. That's what copywriting does. It transitions them from point A to point B. Point A being a prospect, point B being a customer. That's basically it. Typically, this will be a sale, or it can be an opt-in or whatever. Simply put, it's persuasion in print or video or audio. Remember, the vehicle does not matter. So how does selling via print differ to selling face-to-face? Well, selling face-to-face, you get to hear and see the customer's objections, the things that are stopping them from buying. You get instant feedback to your message when you're that car salesman and they're umming and ahhing. You get to see that and you get to deal with it, okay? So their feet might turn towards the door, and you know from your body language training, you just probably lost the sale unless you can do something to get them back in the game. But trust me, if somebody's feet are pointing towards the door, they subconsciously want to leave and they want to get away, which means you've probably lost the sale. You can see that face to face. They tell you maybe it costs too much, or I'll think about it, or I'll get back to you. 9 times out of 10, they are flim-flamming you. You've probably lost the sale. You can see this face to face. Or they simply ask you stuff like, does it come in large? Can I get it in black? Can you deliver it to this address instead of this address? Or they present objections. So your competition's product is bigger, or I've never heard of your company, or it's just a gimmick, or a million other objections that you can overcome face to face. You do get a chance to do that, but you don't get to do it in copy. So when you write copy, you typically don't get to hear their objections. Now, this can sometimes be different. For example, if you're running a webinar, one of the things I love about webinars and the sales process in a webinar is if you do a Q&A at the end, you get to hear your potential customers' objections. And oftentimes you can make as many sales during the Q&A as you do during the pitch, because people are able to communicate and kind of en masse. So you could do it in a big group, but they can communicate their objections to you and you could deal with them. And so it's kind of face-to-face without being face-to-face, which is why I love webinars. But you typically don't get to hear their objections in a long-form copy or in a video sales letter. You don't get to read their body language, and you don't get to ask them questions, or they don't get to ask you questions and you can answer the questions. You don't get all that with copy. You do not usually get a second chance with copy. So you have to skillfully put yourself in the mind of all of your prospects when you write the letter. And this is the difference between a crappy copywriter that just writes some rubbish ad that doesn't convert, and, well, it's one of the main differences between a sales copy piece that converts massively, okay? You have to think and predict their potential objections without ever hearing them, and that's the difference. So face-to-face, they say, oh, not sure about this. I don't think the colour goes with my teeth. Yeah, but in a sales letter, you don't get to hear that. So you've got to imagine what they will be thinking as they're reading your piece. So as they're reading your piece or watching your sales video or whatever, you have to imagine what's going through their mind at each stage of the process, predict their objections and deal with the objections within the sales copy. You don't have to do that face-to-face. They will tell you usually, or oftentimes they'll tell you, and you can deal with them on the fly. But in copy, you have to put yourself in the mind of your prospect and answer the objections as they arise. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask me in the comments. I'll explain. And a whole bunch of other things you need to get right, but that's one of the biggest differences. But if you get it right, you get rich. See, charging $3,000 to $20,000 plus per pitch is commonplace for good copywriters. There's a reason for this. Good copywriters are worth their weight in gold because they make you money. But whether you're on one side of the fence and paying a copywriter or the other side of the fence and being a copywriter, charging your services out, great copywriters get paid upfront, sometimes in the hundreds of thousands, and a percentage of the business. I'm not even joking. So a good copywriter or a great copywriter might charge $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, maybe $20,000 to write you a good long form sales letter. Great copywriters can get hundreds of thousands and a percentage of the business. So the difference great copy will make in your business, it can change your life and bring you success year after year. Become a good copywriter and you'll be able to sell anything to anyone. Leverage the power of masterful copywriting with the internet and you will become unstoppable, because ultimately, if you can spend X on advertising and you know your copy converts, then all you've got to do to scale that is pay more for more ads and put your message in front of more of those people. And ultimately, your sales letter will just be like a machine. You feed it more people, it makes you more money, and you become unstoppable. So that's what this course is going to be all about. This was the introduction, just to let you know the differences between selling face-to-face and copy, and how you can kind of learn this skill and what difference it can make in your life. In the next part though, I'm going to teach you the basic building blocks of great copy and handhold you through writing your own sales letters, sales copy, whatever you want to call it. There's so much to learn: headlines, bullets, call to actions, PSs, bucket brigade words, and so much more. I'm going to cover a good chunk of this stuff in this course. I look forward to teaching you all this and more, but I will not be releasing the next part of this video until this video has at least 50 likes and 50 comments. Now you might say, Matt, that's cruel. How could you do this to me? Look, I'm giving you 20 years of experience, and I'd like to think when I apply myself, I'm not a bad teacher either, and I'm going to apply myself to help transfer a good chunk of the 20 years or almost 20 years of experience from my brain and all those books I've consumed, all those split tests I've done, all those sales letters I've written, and all those failed tests and successful tests. I'm going to transplant some of that knowledge into your brain. Am I asking you for any money for this course? No, this course is free. If you've paid for it, you need to get your money back, because ultimately this is a free course, okay? But my cost is you need to click that like button and comment on this video. That's my only price. And if you're not willing to do this, you don't deserve to do this course. So that's all I'm asking. I hope you appreciate the fact that I'm pouring my effort and time. I'm filming this in my own time, late at night. I put this together. It's probably took me, I don't know, an hour and a half or something to do the slides. As long as this video is took to record it, I'm going to have to upload it and all that stuff. So hopefully you appreciate it enough to give me a thumbs up. So like this video and comment on it right now, and I'll release the second part as soon as it gets 50 likes and comments. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I'm Matt. This has been the Secret Wealth Project. I hope you enjoyed that introduction to copywriting, and I hope you're going to enjoy the course as I take you from total beginner to mastering the basics of copywriting right here for free on this channel. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I'm Matt. This has been the Secret Wealth Project. Speak soon. Bye-bye.